hog then die.
I got no exit. I just score the points. I be smoking loud pack. My side got some.
Today we are reacting to Inside Sydney's most terrifying gang wars. Get your popcorn, get your Vegemite, get under the blankets. But before we get into this video, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Let's get into the reaction.
Story about one of, if not the most vicious feuds Australia has.
See, that's why everybody can't get taken on the drill, gang. How you get taken on the drill? You ain't slipped the whole time, but at the most crucial moments, you decide to bust your behind, gang. No, you're done. Once I would have saw the footage, he would have got jumped and then kicked out.
This is the story about one of, if
Look,
not
bro, he
the
not
most
ready. Look,
vicious
he's still on a
feuds
banana peel,
Australia has
gang.
ever witnessed. For years on end, two crime families went at it, going blow for blow, after one had allegedly stolen drugs from the other. Vicious attacks took place in broad daylight,
Oh my God.
leaving many seriously injured or deceased. The feud got so heated that even the mothers of those involved were not safe anymore.
Bro, okay, yeah. See, when it comes to the mamas, it's like y'all don't even got the morals to let the mothers chill. Like the mothers chilling, making dinner. She not running the streets, but just to get to somebody else, you going off, bro, mom. That's OD.
In the meantime, the families were still smuggling large quantities of drugs throughout the streets of Sydney. And here's probably the most fascinating part about this story. While all this took place, the leaders of both families were sat together inside a maximum security prison. How did they manage to orchestrate all this? This is the story of the Hamzy family versus the Alameddine family.
Imagine
First,
having
it's very
imagine having generational beef with a family, like with a host, not even another gang, just another family. That's like Timmy Turner's pops in Dinkelberg, bro. Just generational beef that will never die. That's Homer Simpson and the dude with the mustache.
important to know exactly what transpired before we get to where we are today. We will start off with the Hamzy family, also known as the Brother for Life gang. The leader of the Hamzy family was a man named Bassam Hamzy. He is the son of Lebanese immigrants Khalid and Lola Hamzy, who moved their family to Australia during the Lebanese Civil War in the 1970s. They had done so in the hopes of giving their family a better future, but once in Australia, especially Bassam got himself in serious trouble. In 1998, Bassam, who was 19 years old at the time, fatally shot 18-year-old Chris Toumazis after they had gotten into an argument in a Sydney nightclub. It led to Bassam getting sentenced to 21 years in prison, and that was the end of this story.
Shit, that's what he gets,
Well,
though.
at least that's what you would expect when someone gets 21 years in prison at such a young age. But Bassam's story absolutely did not stop there. In fact, it was just the beginning. Because from his jail cell in the Goulburn Supermax prison, Bassam went on to form the gang called Brothers for Life in 2007 after converting to radical Islam.
Okay, so he killed somebody over a beer. Then he went to jail, and instead of like, you know what, let me take these 18 years to change my life around. He started the gang. Okay, interesting.
Inside the Supermax
How do you
prison,
start a
Bassam
gang
garnered
in
followers
prison?
who had converted as well. At one point, he had gotten so many followers in the prison that correctional officers agreed it was becoming too dangerous.
So he's like
and
a cult
decided to
leader.
move Bassam to Lithgow prison. Once in Lithgow prison, all he needed to run his operation outside the prison walls was the phone someone had smuggled into jail for him. None of the correctional officers had a clue what he was up to from his prison cell. But in 2008, Bassam's phone was found. Investigation into the phone gave some rather unexpected insights. It showed that Bassam had made over 19,000 calls, an average 460 phone calls a day from May the 1st to June 11th,
460
2008.
calls a day. Who would want to talk this much? He was really setting up hits while in prison, gang. What is even the point of that? I'm so confused.
Further investigation showed that during those calls, he sent instructions to his lieutenants outside of prison to smuggle massive amounts of drugs worth up to $250,000 per week, conduct kidnappings, and carry out drive-by shootings. One of those lieutenants on the outside was his cousin, Mohammed Hamzy, the appointed president of the Bankstown chapter, and by some seen as the co-founder of the Brothers for Life gang. Even though Mohammed carried out the title president, he did not do anything without requesting Bassam's approval first.
Wait, how did Bassam just become big bro with everybody though? Because if the game didn't start till he was in prison, how did he convert people in the prison and outside the prison? Or that means the gang been around the whole time, but then he just moved it to in the prison system also.
Found himself behind bars, but he was still the man in charge. However, over time, the Brothers for Life gang grew,
They have
and Bassam
merch.
started losing his power.
Good quality
To join
merch
the gang,
too.
one would have to buy a t-shirt that costs $70, so practically anyone could join. The men who joined the gang weren't necessarily familiar with Bassam, so they had little to no loyalty nor any incentive to listen to him and do as he said. Combine that with the fact that the gang started making more and more money to do whatever they wished, Bassam lost his grip. The emergence of a new chapter in Blacktown caused an even greater loss of power. This chapter was led by Blacktown president Basim Hijazi and his right-hand man Yeye Amoud. Whereas the Bankstone chapter were mainly men of Lebanese descent, the Blacktown chapter featured men of mainly Afghan descent. Despite belonging to the same gang, internal disputes between the two chapters were starting to occur, and in October 2012, it led to the first of many attacks against each other. Blacktown president Basim and his right-hand man Yeye Amoud were lured to a location where they were sprayed with bullets while sat in their car. Yeye lost his life then and there. Bankstone chapter president Mohammed Hamzy was directly involved in this shooting. Right after the incident,
why are they
Basim decided
backdooring
to
each
flee the
other?
country and left to Lebanon. He was never heard of again. This, however, did not
So you could just kill somebody, flee the country, and just be good for life again. I thought they could like send people over there to come get you.
mean that the feud between the Bankstone and the Blacktown chapter
So
was
if y'all
not
ever
over.
commit a
Attacks would
crime,
continue
make sure
to go
y'all
on
fly
back
out the
and
next
forth.
day again or
Another
within the next
notable
few
attack
hours.
took place
You'll
a
be
year
good.
later in Reevesby Heights on the 29th of October 2013, just past midnight. Bankstone president Mohammed Hamzy sat in a garage with Mahmoud Hamzy and a man called Omar. Without them noticing, a white Nissan Tider parked further down the street. Two people got out of the car and calmly walked towards the garage. Once in range, they both started firing off multiple shots. A third person that stayed inside the car could be seen picking the two others up and fleeing the scene. According to the police, the intended target was Mohammed Hamzy, as revenge for the attack on Basim and Yeye, but the shooters managed to hit everyone except him. Mahmoud Hamzy lost his life on the scene, and Omar was badly injured. The three
Why that
suspects,
keep
one of
happening, bro? Before y'all go on drills, y'all need to do some target practice, gang. Like, I don't know, like how you kill everybody else besides the target. Like at that point, you're trying to miss. That don't even make sense. You might as well just spray down the whole V, get them all, but you spraying down the whole V and hit everybody but the person you want to hit.
which was a woman called Amanda Crow, was later arrested. They all had ties to the Brothers for Life Blacktown chapter. Mohammed luckily survived this brazen attack and was arrested not much later for his involvement in the shooting of Basim and Yeye Amoud. NSW Police Commissioner Mick Willing voiced his concerns about the vicious attacks going back and forth and the effect it had on the community. He urged everyone in the community to cooperate in their investigation by sharing any piece of information they had, allowing police to get the suspects off the street and putting a halt to the violence.
They don't even look
Though
real.
that would prove to be way harder than expected. On the 11th of December 2014, there was a shooting yet again. This time, the victim was Bassam's mother, Lola. A shooter opened fire on her front door while she stood behind it. She was struck once in the stomach, but luckily survived the attack. Oddly enough, Lola Hamzy was the second female family member to be shot through the front door of a house, because early on the 9th of March 2013, Bilal Hamzy's mother, Maha, which is in turn Bassam's aunt, was shot 8 times in the leg. She luckily survived as well.
She survived more shots than 50 Cent. What, 50 got shot 5 times? She got shot 8 them motherfuckers. Yo, gang, we clapping at moms. We clapping at moms. Yo, y'all don't got no morals out there. Like, yo, what the?
The intended target was Bilal, because he had tried to extort someone's mother for $5,000. Instead of him opening the door, his mother did, and she became the target. But more on Bilal later, whose last name is written differently, as you may have noticed. Different branches of the family use different variations of the surname. By the end of 2014, after several years of on and off chaos and destruction, it seemed as if the end had come for the Brothers for Life gang, after a successful police operation saw many members get arrested. Most of the key members either passed away or were put behind bars. I'd like to think this is the final nail in the coffin, NSW Police Commissioner Mick Willing said after all the arrests. More than 300 charges have been laid against 21 members, putting them all away for a very long time.
Shit, nigga, that's worse than the
Bassam,
Young Thug
who was still
Rico.
jailed, saw his gang crumbling down. It went quiet for 2 years, but the end was nowhere near. In fact, it would only get worse. far worse. Because besides the Hamzy family, there was another notorious crime family active in Sydney, Australia,
Hold on,
named
Chad. You know my dopamine receptors is cooked. You're gonna need the 1.25, 1.5.
the Alameddines. One of the leaders of the Alameddine family was also incarcerated, just like Bassam. Talal Alameddine was sentenced to 17 years in jail for supplying the firearm used in the fatal attack on police accountant Curtis Cheng that occurred in 2015 at the NSW Police's Parramatta headquarters. The attack was labelled a terrorist attack and caused a shock throughout Australia. Some members of the Alameddine family were involved in about everything illegal, just like the Hamzy family. This in turn made them rivals of each other in the street.
I know they had some Jewish people out there in Australia. He's Jewish and in the gang. That's crazy. Imagine you get ran down on, bro got a Draco. You look to the side, you see two. What? They're not Jerry curls. You see the two curls just sticking out. Got the yarmulke on. He clap you. I'd be sick.
Some members of the Alameddine family were involved in about everything illegal, just like the Hamzy family. This in turn made them rivals of each other in the streets of Sydney. There are many stories told about what the exact reason for the feud was. Some say the members of the Alameddine ripped off a drug shipment for the Hamzy family back in 2013. Some say it simply began over claiming turf in Sydney to sell their drugs on. Whatever the exact reason may be, it would become one, if not the most hectic
Don't ever
feud
take him
Australia
on a
has ever
drill
seen.
again.
In April 2016, the first of many attacks linked to this feud occurred. Safwan Charbaj,
You got a
a
C-
relative of Alameddine
teammate
associates,
grade for
was taken
that.
out. Just 20 days later, Wali Ahmad was taken out. Wali in turn was an associate of the Hamzy family. Remember NSW Police Commissioner Mick Willing saying, "I'd like to think this is the final nail in the coffin," after all the arrests back in 2014? It seemed as if the Hamzy family was back in the game again. And that resurgence could have been fully orchestrated by none other than Bassam. He reached the national news again in October 2016 when prison staff found yet
mobile
another phone that
phone.
could be linked to him. It was a 7-centimeter long phone hidden in a book in the library of the Goulburn Supermax prison, where he was transferred to back after his brief stay in Lithgow prison.
That
By then,
little ass phone.
phone hidden in a book in the library of the Goulburn Supermax prison,
Yo,
where he was
gang, how do you even text on this? I guess he's doing strictly calls. Like, you can't even see the screen. Like, you really got a pinky only. You can't even use a thumb. You're gonna hit 4 buttons at the same
transferred to back
time.
after his brief stay in Lithgow prison. By then, Bassam was labelled as an extreme high-risk inmate for a while already, due to his radical religious beliefs and followers. So, it was pretty embarrassing for the prison staff to learn that he had access to a phone. This is absolutely unacceptable, and we will be investigating this incident fully using our top security operations team from the Security and Intelligence Unit. NSW Corrective Services Commissioner Peter Severin said. Well, so much for the investigative efforts, because less than 2 weeks later, the same extreme
Another
high-risk inmate
phone?
was
Yo,
caught with yet
at
another
this
phone.
point,
It was during an
gang.
unannounced raid in his cell that Bassam
Yo, he can't be stopped. Bro, he out there moving like Tony Stark in the woods in a cabin with nothing but 2 spark plugs. And he's finding different ways, bro. He's really committed to this.
tried to flush the phone through the toilet, but prison staff had cut off the water to his cell already in anticipation of this. Bassam was caught off guard and got busted. Investigation into the phone once again showed that he was still the leader of the Brothers for Life gang. Alameddine leader Talal and Bassam were both incarcerated in the Goulburn Supermax prison. With tensions between the two families rising in the cities of Sydney, it was no surprise that tensions between those two also rose inside the prison. In October 2018, their paths crossed, which led to a brawl all caught on camera. It allegedly started off as an animated discussion about the balance of power inside the prison. Then, CCTV footage showed Talal grabbing Bassam and connecting all of his punches. Bassam did not stand a chance.
So Bassam doing all that shit on the phone, telling people do this, and that, while his op is sitting in prison with him. They finally get together, and he catches the beats. The nigga draws his out. His shirt is off. He beat the shit out of him. So you telling me, bro, on the outside, y'all seeing this? Y'all not like, y'all don't be like, yo, damn, I'm bugging. This nigga just got his ass beat. I'm hitting licks for this bot. Nigga, he's just, yo, bro, he's grabbing him like these, hitting him with max pain type of combos, gang.
It took several prison guards to stop the fight. NSW police immediately feared for retaliation of both families outside the prison walls, but it remained relatively calm. However, on the 14th of October
Beat the
2020,
shit out of him.
Shaylin Zreka, an associate of the Alameddines, got beaten up by members of the Hamzy family. After 2 years of relative silence, the feud got heated again. 3 days later, several bullets were fired at Ibrahim Hamzy's home. As retaliation for that attack, Rafat Alameddine's home was shot up a day later on the 18th of October. That's how fast it could go in this feud. One did this, the other immediately did that. It went on, tit for tat. Just a day after Rafat's home was shot up, the Alameddines were about to deliver a big blow to the Hamzy family. On the 19th of October 2020, early in the morning, at around 7:30, Majid left his house by foot to go on a walk. What he did not know was that 2 hours earlier, 2 men parked their vehicles in front of his home. They were still sat in the car and had a mission to fulfill. Right as Majid left his home and started walking down the street, 2 armed men got out of the vehicle and chased him. Once close enough, they started firing shots. Some of them hitting Majid. They ran back to their car, despite Majid not being down yet, got in the car and fled the scene. CCTV footage showed Majid running while wounded, glancing over his shoulder, but after 100 meters, he fell to the ground. An ambulance crew tried their best to keep him alive, but Majid succumbed to his injuries. Just like that, Majid Hamzy, Bassam's younger brother, got his life taken. When asked about the incident, Bassam was upset, but gave a calm and simple answer. I accept it as the will of God. However, Bankstown Police Area Commander Darren Sly said that he was
Yo,
very
is this
worried.
like, yo, is this the like craziest beef in history, gang? I never heard of some shit like this. I know that this happened like way back in the day. I forgot their names. It was like the fucking 1100s where it was two families and they used to fight and kill each other over land, and that was going on for generations. This reminded me of this.
About potential repercussions following this shooting, and he wasn't wrong. After the attack on Majid, the feud went totally wild. There almost wasn't a week that went by without a fight, shooting, cars being shot at, houses, and of course people. The two groups constantly became more violent and reckless, which also led to innocent civilians becoming the victims. It was only a matter of time before it would be fatal. That happened on the 30th of January 2021, when an innocent man called Mustafa was fatally struck. He had nothing to do with any crime and was mistaken for a member of the Hamzy family. This feud could truly pop off anywhere, anytime, even on the internet.
I hate when
On the 6th
civilians
of February
get hurt,
2021,
bro.
it was a day like any other at the Berliner Byron Gateway Airport, with people coming and going. Two members of the Alameddines were stood at a conveyor belt.
Do not tell me they went and shot up the y'all shot up the airport, man. On some Call of Duty shit.
Waiting for their luggage to arrive. A Hamzy associate spotted them and walked up to them, and a brawl immediately ensued. Punches flew left and right, all while innocent bystanders quickly had to grab their belongings and get out of the way. A mother could be seen grabbing her daughter to quickly get out of the situation. A woman tried to intervene, but that did not help.
Damn.
Hamzy family member Hassan Amun came flying in, and not much later, a fifth man also joined the fight. All bystanders could do was to keep a safe distance and see it all unfold. It eventually took a lone security guard to put an end to the fight. Police once again immediately feared that repercussions would follow, and looking back, it was safe to say they were not wrong. This fight kicked the feud up a notch, as if it already wasn't violent enough. The next victim would be Bilal Hamzy. Bilal had known for months that there was a price on his head. Even the NSW police told him about it and suggested him to keep a low profile for a while. Rumours in the underworld said it was the Alameddines who wanted him gone and put a price of $750,000.
Whoa. I'm not gonna lie, that's the scary shit in the world. Cause bro, a nigga will kill you for a pack of Skittles, gang, and a chicken sandwich. So you telling me 750, bro? They gonna kill you, kidnap you, send a video of them doing it to you just to make sure they get that money. Direct wired. 750, gang, yo. I'm fleeing the country. You put 750 on my head. I'm fleeing the country, bro. I'm fleeing the country. I'm changing my name. I'm cutting my hair. I'm growing a beard, gang. I'm changing my whole life.
On his head, some even suggesting it was $1 million. Rumours one would take pretty serious, you'd think, right? Not for Bilal. Instead of fleeing the country or lying low in an entirely different part of Australia, Bilal moved into an apartment right in the middle of Sydney's central business district, an area full of densely concentrated skyscrapers, businesses, people, plenty of cameras, and a lot of police. All those things gave Bilal a sense of security and safety, and showed his enemies that he wasn't weak nor scared by fleeing the country. With so many people, cameras and police, there was no chance someone would attempt to hit on his life, right? Well, he was wrong. Very wrong. On the 17th of June 2021, Bilal walked down the street after leaving a restaurant. He casually passed the backside of an Audi that was standing still, not having a clue what was about to happen. Right as Bilal passed the car, someone sitting in the passenger side called him, and as soon as he turned around, the person fired off 4 bullets. Bilal was seen flailing on the ground. The Audi then made a U-turn, came back, and fired off several shots once again to finish the job. This time, Bilal wasn't moving anymore. It was another prime example that these guys truly did not care about anything anymore. Everything was justified. Because just like that, on a Thursday night, in one of Sydney's most crowded areas, Bilal was taken out.
Well, what did you think was gonna happen? You think because you were in broad daylight, if somebody wants your head, gang, it don't matter where you are, bro. If they see you, it's up.
He wasn't as safe as he thought he would be. The Hamzy family were dealt yet another blow a few months later. This time, it was on the 20th of October 2021. Salim Hamza and his father Tawfiq left their house to get in their truck, unaware of 2 people waiting for them a few meters down the street. All of a sudden, an armed man got out of the vehicle and ran towards the truck of Salim and his father. The man ran so fast that while firing his first shots into the car, he slipped. He quickly got up and did what he came for. From close range, he fired off several shots, striking Salim and Tawfiq. Salim allegedly played a role in the Hamzy gang as he was under investigation for the shooting of an Alameddine associate, Shadi Kanj, 2 months earlier. Father Tawfiq, on the other hand, was an innocent man that had nothing to do with the feud and tried to get his son back on the right track. Once again, a prime example of the ruthlessness of this feud. The Alameddine family allegedly was not done yet and kept ordering more and more attacks in an attempt to take.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean this with the utmost respect. The Halim family was getting, yo, they down 3-1 right now, gang. I mean that with the utmost respect. Rest in peace to everybody that passed away. But the Hamza is down in the series, gang. Hamza up 3-1, gang. Gentlemen sweep.
Out the entire Hamzy family for good. They attacked several Hamzy associates, while the Hamzys managed to attack some of theirs, but the Alameddines were definitely getting the upper hand in the feud. Some say that the following attack was the final one that gave them the victory, despite how harsh that may sound. This time, it was another brother of Bassam, called Ghassan Amun. Remember? The same man involved in the airport brawl about 11 months ago. On the 6th of January 2022, a grey Mini Cooper was driving through South Wentworthville. They eventually drove up to Ghassan, who was sat in his BMW. 2 men got out of the Mini Cooper, fired off several shots into Ghassan, and fled the scene. Ghassan was treated by paramedics on the scene, but eventually
Are these
succumbed
people
to
getting
injuries.
arrested
the grey
or
Mini Cooper was
no?
later set fire in a nearby street and eventually burned down for the most part. As of now, many lives have been lost to the Hamzy versus...
Yeah, at this point, yeah, we waving a white flag, chat. That's, yo, I couldn't do that. Imagine me, bro, in jail too. Not only did I get my ass beat, like just humiliated as a man, now all my niggas getting clapped because of some shit that I started. No, gang, what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, bro. And then somebody's mother got shot. An innocent person died. Yo, this is OD.
Over 10 at least. There have been so many attacks back and forth that I could not even begin to list them all. These were the most notable ones. Many members have fallen on both sides, and even more have been incarcerated and are looking to spend long sentences in prison. Bassam Hamzy, the originator of it all, is still serving time in Goulburn Supermax prison. He even got additional time due to all he orchestrated while behind bars. Bassam even involved his lawyer Martin Churchill in his drug ring, who also got sentenced to spend time in jail. After all that has happened, it could be said that the Alameddine family have most likely come out on top. But the question is, at what cost? If you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, a comment sharing your thoughts.
Hey y'all, go to his channel, like, come to my channel. You definitely need to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'll see y'all in the next reaction.
My mom was an addict and pop one in. And trust me, I still ain't care.